Hello and welcome to the African State of Union show. My name is Freeman Singirankabo, and it is with pleasure that I sit here speaking to you. And I want to give you a huge welcome to all of you, especially those of you joining us for the very first time. I want you to come and make yourself comfortable. And here, as I stand in front of you, I am the truth, I am the love, and I am the trust. And these are the benchmarks by which I would love for you to measure each and every one of the words that comes out of my mouth. If there is anything that's out of order, by all means, please help us set it straight. And for everything else that you agree with or that you see as an added value, we ask that you give us support. And with that in mind, I want to also take this opportunity to say thank you to all of you who continue to help us. And today I want to talk to you about the ending of the mourning period of the Rwandan genocide. Today is the day that we finish the 100 days of remembrance, of mourning for our brothers and sisters who died during the genocide that took place back in Rwanda. But it is going to be a different set of conversation today, one that I really have never had before. And I beg that you pay attention, that you help me deliver what I have on my heart to share with you. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who do not know, back in 1994, there was a genocide in Rwanda where more than a million people died, mostly Tutsis, Rwandans of the ethnic Tutsis. They died. And that took place in what it's said to be 100 days, even though we know that it took more than 100 days to kill those people. However, I would take the 100 days as a time period where most of those killings took place. So from April 7th all the way to today, on the 16th of July, we remember it's a mourning time period in Rwanda. Hence this discussion, hence this talk with you all. But really today, what I really want to talk to you about is one and only one thing that's very sensitive. Ladies and gentlemen, for these past 26 years, in Rwanda, we have a collective, a bunch of bones in different museums of Rwandans who were killed during those vicious time period. You're hearing me correct. We have a bunch, countless numbers of people whose bones are still unburied for 26 years. And I feel so ashamed, so sorry, so saddened by the fact that it's been 26 years since these bones of these innocent Rwandans, innocent lives, have yet to be buried. And I am appealing to all of you, Rwandans, friends of Rwandans, and those of you who love humanity, that you help us, Rwandans, to bury these bones. There's been so many genocides all over the world. Only in Rwanda do you see a bunch of bones from these atrocities that have been displayed as a subject of presentation, dishonoring the death, commercializing the death of these people for 26 years. Only in Rwanda, you see these bones, human bones, still unburied. What is the purpose of having a barrier if you cannot bury your own? How are these people going to rest if they have been, since they have been out here for 26 years unburied? For those of you who believe in God, why not allow the spirits of these loved ones to go and rest in peace? If I take an example of the Jewish nation, the genocide against the Jewish people, which I assume that every single one of you all over the world is aware of. Countless lives, millions of Jews were killed. I have yet to see one single bone of a Jewish person in any museum around the world. Not one single bone. Yet the Jewish people, the Jewish nation, is one of the friends of Rwanda. The Jewish nation, the Jewish people have played a tremendous role in helping Rwandans rebuild the country. Yet they have neglected that one area of burying the dead, just like they buried their own kind during the time of genocide against the Jews. Jewish people have technology, marvelous ways of archiving, of preserving the history of each and every one of these people who passed on during the genocide against the Jewish. Yet that same knowledge has not been transferred to the Rwandans in order for them to preserve the history of each and every one of the lives of these Rwandans who died without having to display their bones for 26 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a Rwandan by birth. It disgusts me. I am really disgusted and hurt and abhorred to see that a country, a democratic country, a democratic republic, a country ruled by the people in democracy, that a nation does not allow its people to bury their own because of far greater interest in showing the world that people have died, that a genocide was committed, than to give honor, to give love, to give rest to the people who have died during that same genocide. Yet I see the world, every single one of the countries that is a friend of Rwanda, as being a complicit in these acts. Rwanda has not rebuilt itself. Every single one of the countries all over the world has had a hand in what Rwanda is today. And therefore, you also are complicit in keeping these bones of Rwandans in the open, unburied, because somehow there is an interest that you have in seeing these bones up in the open. This is barbaric. I've never seen a single bone in Arlington Cemetery. I've never seen a single bone in the Museum of the Jewish in Washington, D.C. I have yet to see a single bone of Native Americans, the Indians, in their museum displaying a bunch of natives who died. Museums don't have bones in countless numbers except in Rwanda. And each and every one of you, as the leaders of the free worlds, enjoy seeing that. Your silence gives permission, gives a stamp of approval to the leadership in Rwanda to continue this barbaric way of honoring other Rwandans. We are ashamed to see that we cannot bury our own people in peace because of an interest that this or that country has, because of different reasons, different political or whatever interest that there is. And this needs to stop. This has to stop. And I am appealing to all of you to please help Rwandans bury their loved ones It's been 26 years. And today is the end of mourning for this 26th year, remembering the genocide committed against the Rwandan people of the ethnicity Tutsis. Ladies and gentlemen, those bones are not just for the Tutsis. They don't belong only for the Rwandans in the ethnicity Tutsis. They are also the bones of the Hutus. They are also the bones of the Twas, which you barely hear of. That's another ethnic of Rwandans. So help us bury our loved ones. I want to appeal to you to help us use the technology, the tools we have all over the world. Take a DNA of each and every one of these bones and match them with the loved ones in Rwanda and outside of Rwanda who are still alive. Let them know that your loved one is here, and we would love for you to come and bury your own. It is not just the right thing to do, it is the human thing to do, the moral thing to do. Beyond all politics, beyond all wars and fights, it is the love, the right thing to do. So if you claim to love Rwandans and you claim to be a friend of Rwanda, please, I appeal to you all to ask and to urge the Rwandan government to bury the bones of these Rwandans. Second, I want to appeal to you all to help us fund a project that can use the latest technology and preserve the history of these people whose bones have been on display for the past 26 years. Help us take some digital still images, some videos, if necessary also. Replicate each and every one of the bones as it is. Replace these replicated bones from the original bones and bury the original bones. Rwanda has thrived for these past 26 years. You call it the Singapore of Africa, which I disagree. We brag about technology, we brag about development, we brag about infrastructure, yet we still have bones unburied. Can you spare a few dollars to bury these people? Can you spare a few dollars to fund a project that can preserve their history so that these bones don't have to be kept up in the open? The same way it was done for the Jewish people, the same way it was done for so many other nations who have had experienced the genocide, and they have had an opportunity to preserve fully the history of what has happened. Rwandans people, we are good people, we are loving people. We are not barbaric. We are not animals. And we demand that you treat us as such. You treat us as human beings. We don't want your money to come and display in front of our bury or unbury people. In this case, we don't want your money to come and display and use as you enter this museum to see the bones of people who have yet to be buried for the past 26 years. There's been many genocides all over the world. You don't have to see the bones to know that the genocide was committed. We are very, we are aware of that. So why treat Rwandan differently? Is this being a stereotype? Is this discrimination? What is it that this is implying too? So I beg all of you, Rwandans and friends of Rwanda, those of you who claim to be humanists, humanity lovers, to urge and to help Rwandans to bury the bones of these people that has been up and open for these past 26 years. And with that in mind, I want to give each and every one of you the honor and the respect for the time that you've given me while I pour out my heart to you. And I am asking you to please help me, help us Rwandans, urge the government in Rwanda to bury the bones of these loved ones, of our fellow family members, and let them rest in peace. Help bury another human being like you. We do not leave the dead unburied anywhere around the world except in Rwanda. And with that in mind, I want to give you thanks to all of you. And this has been Freeman Bikorwa Singirankabo with the African State of Union show. I bid you farewell. Till next time.